Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of the PokerGO podcast. My name is Donnie Peters. His name is Tim Duckworth. This is take two. Okay, this is take two. So here's what's happening. It's 2:11 a.m. I am beyond over it. Okay, I've been up since 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm ready to get out of here. I want to do the pod. You guys generally know when we do the podcast because we usually say what time it is at some point in the show, right? I'm over here ready to go. Tim's effing off over there, waiting for this Chino Ream versus Nick Guagenti match to end. They are heads up in the $10,000 buy and 7-card stud. It's never going to end.
It's going to end.
And unfortunately, Chino is probably going to blow it.
Oh, God, don't say that.
He had a big lead in heads up play, but Nick is grinding.
He is.
And he's going to blow it because rule of JRB. That's why he's going to blow it. Now, I started doing the podcast solo, and I was just going to fire it off audio only because, again, he was effing off over there, sitting down doing nothing. And I was like, I'm not waiting. I'm doing the solo pod.
You were going for 60 seconds.
And then you come walking in. In, and now you're here. Okay? Also, complete disrespect for the game. Just producer Rich, I'm sorry. The guy's chomping on chocolate chip cookies or some shit over here. It's just absolutely outrageous. Yeah, exactly.
It's a 2 a.m. snack.
It's ridiculous.
Leave me alone.
This guy is just unbelievable. But anyway, it's the PokerGO podcast, and here we are. I mean, it's just absolutely wild. I know many of you out there listen to the PokerGO podcast. Do know that there is a video version that we are doing every single day on YouTube, on the PokerGO YouTube channel. And then also, for those of you who are watching on video, know that if you can't watch it on video one day, just do the grab and go option, like Oats Overnight right here, right?
Wow.
I'm the king of it, yo. And, you can just take it on the road. We do have audio. We're everywhere. We're trying to be everywhere. So, yeah, that's that. Oh, man. Now that I got that off my chest. How are you?
I'm very tired.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to do the podcast and get out of here. Also, you don't realize that I have to download the files. I have to put them in the drive. I have to do all this nonsense. It's like an extra half hour to my night every night. And then Tim's like, oh, I'm going to be up before you. No, you're not. Because I'm going to be up at 6:30 tomorrow morning driving my effing kids to school. Okay? And you're like, I'm going to sleep here. Yeah, exactly. Okay, exactly.
Just tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I might go home.
We don't have a rundown. I'm so unprepared. I've been all over the place today. I had to go over to Venetian to do commentary, which was a great final table, by the way. Shout out Josh Reichard for winning that one. $212,000 up top. Played his ass off at that final table. But then, then I have to come back over here, and it's like I have to reset myself and get back into the swing of things. But
we can bang this out in 12 minutes.
Okay, not 12 minutes. Probably going to give the people a half hour or so. Before we get into all of that, allow me to tell you about Play PokerGO. Once again, I need to remind you guys every single day about Play PokerGO. If you want to chase the thrill of online poker without having to touch your wallet, playpokergo.com is the place, the home to free-to-play online poker. And it actually feels like the real thing. Real players, real strategy, real fun. Ring games, tournaments, sit-and-goes, bragging rights. And by the way, those sit-and-goes are now No Gamble, No Future branded. So go check those out. It's all on playpokergo.com. So sign up, get in the mix, and see how you stack up. You can join for free now at playpokergo.com. You can also download it for iOS and Android. We will see you at the tables. Okay, let's just bounce around the WSOP here. What do you want to hit on first? You give me an event. Okay. I'm going to go to it, and then we'll talk about it. That's what we're going to do here.
Let's start with the Colossus. It's an easy one.
The Colossus.
Yeah.
This king of... Not only does he F off for the beginning of the podcast, make me redo this whole thing, you just completely bury the lead. You pick a tournament with 16,000 people, 103 people left, of which we know absolutely no one, and you're like, yeah, we're going to lead with that. No, I'm overruling you.
You asked me, and I was I just wanted to throw a wrench.
I'm overruling you. Okay, I'm overruling you already out of the gate. I said I was going to do this, but no, I'm not going to do it. We are overruling you. Are they playing this out? What are they doing in this stud?
The stud, all right, we're down to 2 players.
No, hold on, just answer my question.
Well, I came over during the break, so I don't know. Unless I walk out there and have a look.
We're going to go back to that.
I might open the clock.
Let's hit on the 25K high roller first, because there was a bit of a situation at the beginning of the day, and you were here for it.
Yeah.
So last night, on the previous episode, we talked about how they had 300 entries on day one. They got all the way up to 392. Enormous field.
Massive.
Colossal. Some would say massive. Some would say massive. We won't say massive. We'll say other words like gigantic, stuff like that.
Monstrous.
But monstrous works, yes. I'm totally in. So they get up to 392 entries due to a crap ton of late entries. People coming in right at the buzzer, trying to get in there. I think if you got in at the buzzer, you had 12 and a half big blinds, is what I saw.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So you send a text to our group chat saying they're redrawing the entire tournament. What the heck happened?
Yeah, very, very interesting developments. Basically, they played a level while registration was still open. Mass queue of people trying to jump in. And, they've got the new iPads. It's rather difficult to balance the old way where you high card tables, open new tables. It causes quite a headache. And I don't know who made the decision, WSOP, or maybe it was the people in the app. They did a, redraw of the tournament. That way, you can just basically immediately redraw all the new players in. They all get their push notification. They all move tables. Very uncommon way to do it, but I was out there. I didn't really hear any gripes about it. Well, so maybe this is the new way to do it.
I was going to say, at least as it pertains to the WSOP, because now with the WSOP Plus app, you can basically press a button probably, right? That says redraw or something. So, should that be the case in these tournaments when you have these large groups of late registrants that come in? Should you just do this? You play that level or 2 levels or whatever it is on the day 2, and then when that break comes, you get everyone in, and then you press the redraw button, and everyone goes and does their thing and gets to their new seats. So I feel like it should just be implemented.
Okay, personally, I don't love it. I still like the way we do it at the studio, where you high card, etc. But in all fairness,
you can't compare it to the studio.
I know, but in all fairness, this is still random. So if it saves 10, 15 minutes, and it's just an easy way to do it, and no players object, hey, I think this might be the new way to do these big field high rollers, especially here at the WSOP.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. So I just thought it was interesting. We've never seen anything like that. Obviously, the app makes it easy to just, press a couple buttons and redraw everyone. Everything gets shot out to everyone's phone. And that's that. So after day 2 in that tournament, 18 players remain. Anatoly Nikitin is leading the way with 5.55 million chips. Chin Wei Lim is second. Andrew Ostapchenko is third. Orpin Kasachikoglu is fourth. And Byron Kaverman is fifth on the leaderboard. We had a shot, 25K fantasy-wise, down to the final couple tables, and we had both Jeremy Osmus and Seth Davies in. Jeremy Osmus ends up busting in 22nd place, and then Seth Davies busts in 19th place. So we scored some points, yes, but we were closer to scoring a bit more points, and things were looking quite nice for us, but didn't work out. So what are you going to do? Almost 2 million buckaroos up top for this one. $1,949,000. Second place, also going to get seven figures. Just shy of 1.3 million for second place. The final 18 players are guaranteed $73,639. Plan for this one, we did stream day 2 today on PokerGo and on the PokerGo YouTube channel. The plan is to stream the final table on Monday, June 9th. That's today when you're listening or watching this. So stay tuned to PokerGo for that one. It should be a fun final table with a ton of money up top. Remember, this is the one that Nick Schulman won last year, and this year it's even bigger. Again, more than 1.9 million going to the winner. Okay, sir, now that I've gotten that out of the way, where do you want to go?
I say we go to the 600.
You're so ridiculous. Okay, we're gonna go over to the $1,500 PLO double board bomb pot, which has a winner.
Yep.
Xixiang Luo is
wow.
So I have no idea how to say his last name. I don't know. I just know that there was a guy at the Venetian final table today who had the same last name, and the whole time that I was saying his last name, it was nonstop correcting me in the chat. So I don't know. I don't know how to say his name. Luo sounds right to me.
Was he also Chinese?
I believe so. I mean, he was American, but
was he American Chinese?
Yeah,
I think that might matter. I mean, maybe
listen, the chat was telling me nonstop. So I listened to the chat because that's the professionals of the world.
Agreed.
The YouTube chat is the professionals of the world. So that's what I go with. Xixiang here winning his third bracelet in 3 years. He won 2 last year, right?
Yeah.
And he won this one this year. So he's just obviously the greatest player in the universe.
Do you remember which one he won last year?
I know that he beat your boy.
My boy.
One of the Hashems in this tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was slightly different, but last year it was no limit hold'em / PLO. They didn't do the bomb pot every hand, so kind of changed it up. He won that, and then I don't know what else he won.
I don't know, but I just wanted to see if you got that first one.
I'll say he won the 9 game. 15. Is there a 53K 9 game?
There is a mini PPC, yes.
Yeah, I'll say he won that. I'm completely guessing. I honestly have no clue what he won. What do you got for me?
So close. 25K horse high roller.
Oh,
you're in the vicinity of the
I knew it was a mixed game tournament. He's a mixed game guy. He's obviously the greatest mixed game player in the world. Well, second greatest to Benny Glosser, but
I don't know. He might be making a run at it.
This one also took forever.
You know who he topped at the 25K horse final table?
Josh Arieh?
No. Albert Dahia, Michael Monchek, Phil Ivey, Ryan Miller, Scott Seaver, David Benjamin, Adam Friedman. Cool. That is a murderous row.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 25K horse. Right there. What do you expect? No, but this tournament, Luo winning 290,000. He was heads up with Robert Klein. I mean, they played heads up forever.
A long time, yeah.
There was 2 heads up matches going on opposite sides of the room. You had this one between Luo and Klein. Then you had the other one between Chino Reem and Nick Wagenti, which I guess is still going on over there for God knows what reason.
They're playing one more level.
These 10K limit tournaments are just wildly long. Interesting situation here happened when you and I were about to go for a walk, go check out some of the other tournaments, and we stopped by here. There's a 3-way all-in. Mm-hmm. They're 4-handed. There's a 3-way all-in. There's cards all over the table. There's chips all over the table. Danny Wong is one of the players all in, but Danny Wong, like, I don't know, at least to me, it didn't seem like he realized he got eliminated.
Yeah. Got scooped on one board by one player, scooped by another player on another board.
The way he didn't act made me, I was like, am I misreading what's going on here? I was like, clearly you're just eliminated, but he was kind of like sitting there like, oh, I have a set. Like, well, yeah, but he has a straight, so it doesn't matter. So what are we doing? Anyway, a little aside there. Former player of the year, Ian Matakis, 7th place in this event. All right, we're done with that. All right, let's talk about the stud, shall we?
Let's do it.
So it's Nick Wagenti, it's Chino Reem. They are heads up, and as of right now, it looks like Nick Wagenti has the chip lead.
Yep.
Which is just incredible. What was the size of the chip lead for Chino? Like, what did it get up to?
I think he
about
had
6-1.
Yeah, a little bit worse than a 6-1 lead at one point during heads up play. And we thought as the broadcast was going on of the day 2 coverage of the 25K, we were going to crown potential winner in Chino Reem, first time bracelet winner on that outer table. But Nick slowly grinded back. Got it to even, went back Chino's way, back and forth. Obviously, they're playing pretty big limits. Just finished 100K, 200K. And obviously, these guys both want it pretty bad. I'd say Chino wants it slightly more. So it's a grind out there. And, they did talk about ending at 1.
Yeah, what happened to that? It's 2:25.
It's 2:25. And I want to bring up another thing because we're on a 15-minute break. Nick Wagenti is nowhere to be found when the clock starts. And Chino's like, we'll wait. Nick had 6 big bets. Okay. I called him twice. Chino messaged him. I think ODB said he messaged him. He came back 15 minutes later. And I am very confident that he would have been blinded out in 15 minutes with 6 big bets. You have to physically deal the hands, I believe, still.
Yeah.
Right? And then take the chips and move on.
I mean, what was he doing? Why did he do that?
When he came back, because he has a room here. He shares a room here with Phil Hui upstairs. So, we just assumed he went upstairs, maybe change his clothes, eat some food, go to the bathroom, whatever it is. he said he wanted 30 minutes. And I think that's where there was a bit of a confusion between the floor, Chino, Nick. But look, hey, good on you, Chino, for not, dealing the cards and taking that bracelet home a little unfairly.
Well, I mean, listen, it doesn't look like karma's going to be on Chino's side because clearly Nick is just taking
it ain't over yet.
So I pointed something funny out years ago. I don't even remember what year it was. It was 2008. It was maybe 2009. It was one of those two. John Robert Ballon, who is friends with Chino, is heads up with Matt Graham in the $1,500 limit hold'em shootout way back in the day. And also, kind of weirdly, coincidentally, we mentioned Danny Wong. Danny Wong was at that final table too.
He was 5th place.
JRB is heads up with Matt Graham, and JRB has a big lead, like 10 or 11 to 1, something like that. At some point in the night, it was very late. They were playing forever. I remember I was working with James Gwill. Shout out James Gwill.
Combin Cards.
Yeah, Combin Cards. Him and I were working for Poker News at the time. And sometime while they're heads up, Chino shows up. So Chino shows up. He's talking to his boy, JRB. He's trying to sweat him a little bit. This, that, and the other thing. Chino ends up leaving. John Robert Ballon dusts it off. Blows it, and Matt Graham ends up winning. Blows the massive lead. Obviously, JRB would go on to win a bracelet later on. Didn't he win something crazy? He won like the 5K 6 max or something out of control. Much later. But obviously trying to get his hands on a bracelet back then, would have, of course, meant a lot to JRB. So, bringing this full circle, these guys are out here playing. Chino's got a big lead, right? It's looking like he's going to close it out. I mean, Chino's nonstop talking shit like the whole time. Like it was like if you've ever seen, I don't know, clips of Michael Jordan talking shit. Like it was just nonstop, like in Nick Guagenti's face. It was quite hilarious. But then guess what happens? You look up on the rail. Who shows up on the rail? Good old JRB shows up on the rail, and I'm like, oh, here we go. This is the full circle moment. Chino showed up when JRB had the massive lead, and JRB blew the lead. And now you got JRB showing up when Chino had the massive lead, and at least as of right now, Nick has crawled his way back and has the chip lead. So what do you know? These two need to not go sweat each other on their rails, okay?
I would like to read a post you might have made at 5:53 a.m. on July 3rd, 2008.
There you go.
Title, Egg McMuffin Time. It's almost 6 a.m. and thoughts of breakfast are beginning to prevail. Perhaps we should send the floor lady to McDonald's.
That was definitely James.
That was definitely James?
Yeah.
Let's go to...
For much of that, what year was that? 2008?
2008.
Yeah, so that was my first year. For much of that, I was reporting on the floor and handing stuff to him, and he was writing it.
Graham getting irritated. 6:59 a.m. Ballon's Railbirds are getting a little too rowdy here at the final table after a hand. One of the spectators was giving Graham a little too much grief. Graham said something to him. Security stepped in and spoke with the spectator. We've been told that if it gets much more rowdy, then security will start removing people from the rail. This final post, event 53, only 53 events of this World Series. Man, times have changed. Event 53 is in the books. 823 players, blah, 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 blah. In a day two that lasted over 17 hours.
Yeah, it was outrageous.
17 hours, that post 7:30 a.m.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Marathons back though in those days.
Absolutely ridiculous. Well, these guys are still playing over there for God knows what reason. Just go home, guys. Come back
Speaking
the next
of sleeping,
day.
how you mentioned I'm going to go upstairs and sleep since we have a room. You could take that room too, but you have to take kids to school. 2008, there was one day I finished at like 5 a.m. I didn't want to pay for the cab to go back to our rental house in Chinatown. So I slept in the players' lounge, laptop in my arms like this, cuddling it on the couch. And then like every time security would come in or people would come in to like, go to the players' lounge, I would like wake up. And then I woke up to the stampede of people coming into the Rio about 11:50, went to the bathroom, did like one of those washes, where you get the water and you wipe yourself down, and then started our shift at 12 o'clock.
There you go.
Yeah, good old days.
So before these two, you had Paul Volpe busted out in 4th place. Maury Eskandani made a run all the way to 5th place, $70,000 for him. Adam Friedman was in there, 6th place for him. Dan Heimiller, 7th. 8th place, Mike the Mouth Matisow. So a good group of names there that ultimately bowed out. And Kiang Zhu also busted in 3rd. He busted today. They played 3-handed for a while as well.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just the heads-up play that lasted quite a long time. But right now, it is still Chino Riem and Nick Wagenti heads up for the $10,000 7-card stud title and $295,000. Nick is looking for his 3rd gold bracelet. Chino is looking for his 1st. Chino has, is it 3 heads or 2nd place finishes?
3 second place finishes. Is a 3rd, couple of 4ths, and he's either going to get a win or another 2nd place right here.
Yeah, so he's been there close many times. Chino's of course won many big tournaments in his career. He's won plenty of stuff in the studio as part of the PGT. He's a 2-time PGT Mixed Games champion, but he has still yet to claim a WSOP gold bracelet. And he's right there. He's right there right now. So, if we get a winner during the rest of the show, we'll do some breaking news. If not, you can expect us to hit on this one and close it up on the next episode of the show. The $1,500 Big O is down to how many players? 17 from the field of 1,499. And while we bombed out, when I say we, I mean our 25K fantasy team in the 25K high roller, we got Nico Milgram. Looks like he's 2nd in chips for this one with 17 players remaining. So we got a shot for good old Nico there. Also, listen, don't look now, but I said, don't be surprised if Ryan Honig wins a 2nd bracelet. And who's 5th in chips?
Ryan Honig.
Ryan Honig. There you go. You also got Lawrence Brantz in there. Owais Ahmed is in there. Sean Daniels is also still in the field for this Big O tournament. Those 17 players are guaranteed $12,200 up top, almost $300K, $297,200. They're going to come back on Monday. They're going to try and play this one out to a winner. I would expect that this one actually does get to a winner, unlike what might happen over there in the 7-card stud. $600 mixed no limit hold'em / pot limit Omaha Deepstack. And I have not seen this guy in a long time.
Whoa.
Valentin Vornicu is the chip leader. That's crazy.
Maybe I'm 2nd in chips.
Hold on. Oh my God. They did it to me again. I cannot stand when they do this. The chip leader should be the story. Always. 99% of the time. And the thing is, the guy who is actually the chip leader, Easton Orman, works in the industry.
Yep.
He is a social media manager, works for the World Poker Tour. Give the man his due. Put him in the headline, and he has a sizable chip lead.
Yeah.
He's got 3 million. Vornicu has 2.5 million. That's a nice chip lead. Come on, man. What are we doing? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, I think there are exceptions to every rule. For example, if, let's say, Daniel Negreanu is in 3rd place. Okay, I get it, right? But come on, guys. Come on. You got James Calderaro. Big Show, baby. He's in 3rd. Kane Callis is in 8th. What's going on in this tournament? I haven't even checked in this thing all day. 2,775 entries.
Yeah.
Good Lord. They're in the money. Okay. Who else is in there?
Tyler Brown's in there. We got a bracelet winner, Christian Gutierrez in there. Joseph Sanders. Calvin Anderson. He had a chip lead for a long time. Doesn't have that anymore. It's kind of a bigger name. Ari Engel is there. Gary Bolden. I know we love our Gary Bolden. Mark Gregorich. Jesse Lonis.
It's not an Omaha tournament if Gary Bolden's not on the field.
Of course.
Right,
Ben Hughes also in there. So,
all right.
Few of these kind of mixed game notables we are used to talking about.
All right, sounds good. I mean, we might as well do it now. Let's hit on this Colossus.
Oh, yes, let's go.
I after you tried to put it at the top to bury everything
colossal.
else, I went and then buried it.
It's so colossal that it needed to be first.
Are you able to effort right now? Check the structure this year and last year. I want to know what the deal is with the structure.
Okay.
Which one are you going to check? How about that?
Last year. I'm looking for last year.
I'll check this year. So you check last year's structure. I'm going to check this year's structure because Tim and I were talking about how the field size was down year over year, 3,000 entries. And we were informed, our good friend ODB reached out and said that they changed the structure, which I had heard, but I was like, how much could they have changed the structure? But now we were told they went from 30-minute blinds to 40-minute blinds. Now, this is what we're trying to confirm. So bear with us while we try and look this up. This is always incredible stuff. I know producer Rich Ryan absolutely freaking loves it. So level duration this year is 40 minutes. 50K chips, 40-minute levels. Are you not able to
I'm not finding anything, no.
You got to go to like Poker News or something, right?
Yeah, I'm going to like day 1A of Poker News to see.
The problem is that they changed all these freaking all the stuff on the website. So you can't find
this is what I have. It's 40K. Starting 1 to 40-minute levels. 3 starting fights, play 15 levels. Or 15% of the field.
So wait, that was last year?
That was last year. So this year, you start with 50K, slightly more chips.
Okay.
Still 40 minutes. I'm not sure what the first level was. Can you tell us, was it 100, 200, 200?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically the increase in starting chips.
But an increase of 25%. That's a lot. There's a lot of chips.
Yeah. And also extending...
Which they obviously, they likely did because the buy-in's higher.
Yeah.
Right.
And they increased the amount of play on day 1, although it was still down to the money, but they did allow for 17, 18 levels. So that's the main difference from this year to last year.
Yeah, and I think also, as you pointed out on yesterday's episode, that it was later in the schedule last year.
Yeah.
Right. So that it's probably not exactly one thing. It's probably not the structure. It's probably not this. It's probably not that. It's probably there's a pie chart and everything has its share of stuff. So it's all those things. But shouts to ODB for passing along that information with the structure and an extra 10,000 chips is a lot. It makes things a bit deeper, especially if they keep if all the levels are the same throughout, right? Obviously, adding more chips in there, people are just going to go bust a little bit slower. Yeah. Well, we're not wrapping up with this. Carlos Caldas is leading the way. This is a funny headline. Seeking first bracelet. There's 100 people left.
It's not wrong.
Yeah. Okay. There's 16,000 people seeking a bracelet in this tournament. It's just sometimes it's fun. Matt Glantz is still in, by the way. Somehow, some way, Matt Glantz is in the field.
And there was also one more notable. Ryan Lang.
Ryan Lang. Okay.
Yeah. This was supposed to be already down to 9 players for a 1 o'clock stream tomorrow.
Wait. You're joking.
We're about 98 players heavy. So we're already making some contingent plans here to maybe push it into another day, maybe stream at 8 p.m. at night. We're going to see how fast it plays. Average stack's about 20 bigs. So it should be pretty quick out of the gate, 11 a.m. restart. So there is still hopes we'll get this on PokerGo on Monday, just a little later than the 1 p.m. that I had scheduled about 3 months ago. So,
well, people are playing too good in the Colossus. You know? I have an idea for the Colossus.
Got it.
I'm looking at this first place prize. It's $542,000, which is
colossal.
A whole lot of money. Now, I think a lot of people are probably going to hate this idea, but I'm going to roll with it.
I'm trying to think what you're thinking. Okay.
Cap the first place at $500K.
Okay. Why?
I don't know.
Is that a clean number?
It's a nice clean number, but then you can beef up all the other payouts.
Okay.
And what you then get is, hopefully you get kind of these dreamers, these shot takers, recreational players that are firing into this, to maybe get a little bit more payout. You cash for, let's say, $1,800 instead of $1,500. I don't think that the top makes that much of a difference if you cash for $542 or $500,000, right? But if you throw a couple $100, couple $1,000 elsewhere, right, you can go a long way. Then maybe you get those people parlaying it into other events.
Like
so that's
the Monster stack next week or so.
Yeah. So that's just my random thought there. It just came to me right now. I have no idea if it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm sure plenty of people will tell me it's horrendous. But that's what the old YouTube comments are for. You guys can just
lay into us.
Go nuts in there. So that's the Colossus. And then we have the $10,000 no limit hold'em deuce to 7 single draw. This thing, I mean, we walked over there and we immediately said, why is this so big?
Mm-hmm.
It's out of control big. The players were talking on the rail that this might get 200. Now, you were talking about, is there a different number of re-entries?
Yeah, they increased the re-entries from 1. Well, first of all, most of the championship events, no re-entries allowed.
Makes sense.
Freeze out. Love it.
Got
championship event. Why not? The no limit deuce is a little special. Okay. So it's always had 1. Bit more gamble. Main reason. 2 betting streets, just all in call. This year they made it 2. So that definitely factors in. I saw a post from Benny Glaser. He was in for all 3. Got that third one up to an okay stack. So
John Shorman on our 25K team was also in for all 3.
Love it. Good work, John. This is what we need. You need to get us over the line because Jeremy Osmus not doing too well. So yeah, that was the change. And obviously the best way to view this is at the end of the day, we get the uniques. You look at the uniques and you look at the total entrance and see if it's more based on the re-entries or more based on new players. I walked over there. First person I saw, Elio Sion, who we talked about, loyal listener, sent me a DM today. Pedro Bronfman was like, playing the deuce, bring me a hat.
Of course.
Of course he's playing the deuce.
Pedro Bronfman is playing the deuce.
Of course.
Come on, of course.
We saw the legend, Billy Baxter, over there.
Is Pedro still in?
I don't know. Been sweating this.
He is still in.
Stud
he bagged 190K.
So yeah, you get a lot of fresh faces that come out for the no limit deuce. You got that extra re-entries. A lot of these no limit guys, Darren Elias, Alex Foxen, they love the deuce.
That's what ODB was saying. You're starting to get a lot of the bigger no limit guys transition over to start firing in this one, which is great to see. So yeah, Nick Schulman leading the way. Shocker there.
What a surprise.
Yeah, what a shocker. He's leading the way. Scott Seaver second, Alex Foxen third. You mentioned Darren Elias. He's up there near the top. Dan Smith as well is in the top 10. Daniel Negreanu also in the top 10. Daniel's putting together some runs here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He's putting together some stacks. He's putting together some runs. We'll see if he can go deep in this one. Of course, anyone who bought action of his package on PokerStake, I'm sure loves to see the fact that Daniel is in the top 10 entering day 2 of this tournament. So what do we got going on tomorrow?
Well, we'll have the continued Stud Championship going for another 8 hours between Sheena Ream and Nick Guanti. We have the Colossus, obviously we touched on.
What's starting that's new?
What's starting that's new? We have a 50K, no limit hold'em, high roller. That's going to be a big one. We will hopefully do some day 2 coverage of that for the folk like you and me with smaller bankrolls. 800 Deepstack. Right up our alley. I don't think either of us will be playing that because we are exhausted right now. And then the afternoon event, the event that would be voted most likely to get evicted from the WSOP schedule is the 1500 limit hold'em.
You really think that that's the event?
Of all the ones on there, I don't think it would ever go, but I feel like that's the one most on the out. Of all the,
I don't know. I feel like
you compare that to say the 1500 horse, no chance. You compare that to say the 1500 Big O, no. 1500 Stud, no. I think the limit
I'm gonna need to think on this one.
Let's look at some numbers. Let's look at the numbers. We'll see if we can.
Not right now.
You don't have the brain power to break.
I just need to kind of go through and see.
Limit hold'em for. I mean, look, it still gets a good turnout. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, so if it gets a good turnout, it's never getting evicted.
I don't think it's going to get evicted.
Listen,
I'm just saying it's.
If it keeps paying the rent, no need to evict.
If you pay the rent,
that's just how it works.
Good point. Yeah. Okay.
You got to find something that's not paying the rent, which is like the 10K RAS.
Oh wow, you just broke Mickey's heart.
I mean, isn't that like the lowest turnout?
Okay.
Right.
Stud last year had 107. Yeah, but the 10Ks are different.
I know, but I'm just saying. Well, they used to have a 10K pot limit hold'em.
Oh,
they evicted that thing.
Zolotar special.
They evicted that thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen.
Definitely.
There's no sacred cows. Well, there's one sacred cow, the main event. Other than that, there's no sacred cows here. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, so three events starting tomorrow. You got a little bit of taste for everyone: the low rollers, the high rollers, and the limit rollers.
And the limit rollers. You're absolutely ridiculous. We're leading into a pretty fun stretch. You know, of course, we have those events kicking off tomorrow, but I'm looking a little bit further down the road. You know, 3K freeze out, 10K PLO high low, $1,500 monster stack, $100,000 high roller. Like, you know, that's a nice batch of events right there. So I'm really looking forward to what we have for the week ahead.
And fresh off the niche women's high roller we did at we talked about from the win yesterday, we got the seniors high roller 5K coming up next week as well. So yeah, we have big high rollers with the seniors high rollers and some pretty interesting freeze out events coming up.
Alrighty, sounds good. We're not going to keep you any longer. We don't have an interview.
Let me go get one. We just hold on. Just pause the show.
No,
I'll go
stop.
out, grab
Stop.
while he's
Tim was hanging on to see if he could get Nick or Chino,
Fine.
but obviously they didn't finish. So look to get those today when they do finish. But that's going to do it for the show. We got nothing else. You guys know the drill. If you see us and you want a hat, say the password.
Giving away 25
pot.
hats.
Jesus Lord.
So
you're going to need to order more.
Dragonfish, think his name was. He came up, got a hat.
Dragonfish.
Yeah, that's what he said. He wanted to go back.
Okay.
Got young Man Coffee. He came, got a hat. A guy who was last year in 2021, and he chopped the 250 horse Deepstack at the Rio with me and Mickey Duft. Right?
Wow.
He came and got a hat. He didn't put it together that it was me until then. So we've given out about 20. We talked about Pedro Bronfman, Justin Zaki. You still need to give me the secret code. Jeremy Becker asked for a hat today. Well, buddy, you got to give us the secret code too. But yes, 25 down, 75 to go. If you want one, we're not reserving it for anybody. So you have to come find us, get it. We still have last year's hats. So if you didn't get one of those and you want one, we have them here as well. But yes, 75 hats, new hats remaining. So come get them before they run out.
All right, sweet. For him, he's Tim Duckworth. For me, I'm Donnie Peters. We'll talk to you guys next time.